All right, I think we're at 10 o'clock. All right, I think all of you already know me, right? Yeah? So, yep. Yeah, you've probably heard me on the radio too. All right, okay. My GMRS call sign's WSAM 586. My ham call sign is KQ4QJQ. I'm a general licensed ham. So this is a guide to building a basic dipole antenna. We're going to go over the principles of radio wave propagation. Very, very basic, nothing earth-shattering. Look at a few antenna types. Materials I've used, which if you've been around me at all know can get quite ridiculous. And we're going to do the math, and then we're going to build a dipole. Probably not completely in that order, but we'll get through it. All right, so here are some basic radio wave principles here. Right now you got a negative and you got a positive, right? That's these cords right here. If you're going to do a wire antenna, you got plus and negative, right? So we're going to say the black is negative, the red is positive. So what's -1 plus 1? Zero. Zero. So if I try to hook this up, positive and negative, and make this into an antenna, how much propagation am I going to get? Zero. So what do we got to do to it? We got to split it. And that's really as basic as it gets right there. I'm going to turn this into two components. So now I have a +1 and a -1. And now these guys work together now. So our propagation comes in at a 90 or goes out at a 90, whichever way you want to look at it. So if I put this wire like this and I hook it up to my radio, my propagation is going to come straight up and out, right? Now what if I turn it this way? It's going to come this way. So that magic right there is what we call polarization. It's a big fancy word to say which way do you have your antenna turned. Do you have it horizontal or do you have it vertical, right? Very simple. Now why is that important? Now if my friend over there, Mark, has his antenna turned vertical and I have my antenna turned horizontal, are we going to be able to hear each other? It depends on how close we are, right? If you get really, really close, I mean, line of sight's like, nothing, of course you're going to be able to. But if you want to get distance, you really need to be the same polarization. So most repeaters, at least in our network, are vertically polarized. So if you build one of these antennas, when you set it up, you want to make sure that you are vertically polarized. Other factors, are we talking about VHF, UHF, or HF? Line of sight, height as might. We did a little experiment last night. I was in my hotel room on the second floor, surrounded by building and blocked, very low, and I could not hit the local repeater here. But if I go up, height as might, I can now hit it. Using repeaters, I think everybody used a repeater, right? You understand the basics of that. Okay, for the people in the room who are here with their husbands. So basically a repeater is, come on in. Basically what a repeater does is it repeats what I say, right? So I talk, it hears me, and it talks to my friend over there. They talk back, and it comes back to me. It is that simple. All right. Other things you can talk about, skip off the sky, ionosphere and NVIS. But we're not going to get into that today. All right, here are a few antenna types. You have the dipole antenna, which is what we're going to look at today. You have vertical antennas, and you have directional antennas. And here's some examples of all three of them. The one here, and I built all of these. This one right here is a 10-meter wire dipole. So it's 1, 2. This is a quarter wave vertical. So you notice it doesn't have the other element coming out the side. It's not balanced, right? But it is because I've got a ground plane on it. And now this is called a Yagi. And the reason I wanted to present on a dipole is because everything starts there, right? So if you look at this Yagi directional antenna, this is just a dipole. This is a dipole, and then I've added parasitic elements. Now, that sounds bad, but what that does What that does is like you got that dipole and it's just going to throw that signal out, right, along the whole wire. So those parasitic elements, what they do is they take that signal and they dial it in, right? Now, that does two things. One, I'm not going to be able to talk to my friend over here now, right, because I've dialed it in. But if I do like this, I can, right? But then I don't get to talk to you guys. Why would you want to do that? Well, maybe my friend Jim is way, way, way far away, right? And I have something I got to tell him. So I'm going to turn that straight to him. Or there's a repeater that I can barely hit with a traditional dipole. So I'm going to build a Yagi so that I can focus it. And then I can hit that repeater. Does that make sense? Interactive, guys. Come on. Talk to me. Crystal clear. All right, here's some materials I've used. Going from pretty basic to ridiculous. So these are welding rods. Picked them up at Harbor Freight for, I think, $7. I still have the tube. Like, I'm still building antennas out of that. You got wire. This is out of a coat hanger and a yardstick, self-measuring, right? So that's actually the first antenna I built right there. And to take some complication out and not have to measure over and over and over as far as the element spacing, I used a yardstick. That is a repurposed TV antenna. It's in my attic right now. That's what I use for GMRS. And that right there is a flower pot with fake flowers in it. This is the question to ask. Will it conduct electricity? Right? So the way you tell if it will conduct electricity, get you a multimeter, turn this on, turn it on your flow there, connect. If you get a signal on this thing, you can build an antenna out of it. Now, how good it's going to be, you just have to try it. But you can build an antenna out of it. So fake flowers have that thin wire running through them. So that's what I did. I just hooked it up and made a quarter-wave vertical out of it. All right. So now let's do the math. If you want to build a wire dipole, this is the magic formula. You got 468 divided by the frequency that you're trying to hit. So for GMRS, our frequencies run between 462 and 468. That 468 is not related to that 468, so don't get confused with that. For 70 centimeters, the frequencies are 420 to 450. Is everybody with me so far? Yes. Anybody glazing over? Okay, all right, good. 2 meters, 144 to 148. And then 40 meters, once you get your general license, you got 7.1 to 7.3. Probably want to build for 7.2 to hit it in the middle. What we're going to do today to save on material is we're going to build a GMRS antenna. So you got 468, and we're going to build for 462 and then trim back. Is 1.01 feet. Let's convert that into inches. It's 12.12. So now we're doing a dipole, right? So that 12.12 is the entire length. That's the other thing. That 12 inches from end to end. So now what I have to do, it's 6.06 each. Make sense? Yeah. Everybody in here knows what they're doing. So a dipole, you got positive and negative. So we're going to cut for 6.5 and then trim back. So measure twice, cut once. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to cut long, and then we're going to cut a lot. So a little bit different. Any questions on this one? Where that 468 comes from, anything like that? Nope, everybody knows?
Where does that 468 come from?
The speed of light. That's true.
No, I know it's true.
Okay. So it literally is the speed of light converted into imperial units. You divide that out, and then there's a velocity factor in there for the wire. Because this is a coated wire, you have to add a 0.95 velocity factor, and you get 468. So just remember 468 and divide that by the frequency you want to hit. All right, here's some tools. We got wire strippers, we've got wire. Nano VNA. Who has a nano VNA in the room? Or rig expert, anything that you can do that. See some people in the back. Yep, okay. So that's going to be one of the first tools you want to get is a nano VNA. You can get them on Amazon relatively inexpensive. I've got one here if anybody wants to see it. Optional stuff, you don't have to have the terminals and the heat shrink. All that stuff's optional. Tape measure, you got to have something to measure with. I'm going to get out of the way here so you can see this. But you have to have a way to connect your wire antenna to an SO239. And that's this connect, well, this is a, you know. You trying to take a picture of that? Okay, let me get out of the way.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You have to have a way to connect this to your radio and then connect that to your antenna. So that's what this is going to do right here. There's multiple ways to do this. The easiest way I've found is to get the BNC split post connector. You can find these on Amazon pretty cheaply. And then an SO239 adapter. And that's what I've got here, if anybody wants to see it. So, any questions? That's pretty. There you go, questions. So now let's build one. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Who has used wire snippers before? 1, 2, 3, 4. Most people, all right. So this is a basic presentation, so I'm going to go into it like that. It's right here. I'm going to put it in here. What I like to do is usually line the end of my my wire up to there. And then that exposes all the copper goodness that actually carries the RF energy. So that's simple enough. You're going to do that to both of them. Now I have to have a way to connect to my split post, right? So I have to put the red on here and the black on here, right? So the way these work, they just untwist. It's really simple. So now you can see the hole in there. Mm-hmm. So I've got a couple of options. I can keep turning, right? I can keep turning this. Or if I were in a bad situation, I could just stick the wire straight in there and then ratchet it down. But I've done speaker terminal. Yes, absolutely. And it's speaker wire. You guys have seen these before, I'm sure. Yeah. So that's what I was saying right there. You don't actually have to make it fancy and put a terminal on it. You can just put the wire in there and ratchet it down. Yep. But if you do decide, what you can do, you just put the terminal in there. Well, twist it first. Twist it. Then I usually strip these down to nothing, and then you see all the things in the middle there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it in there, and you squeeze.
Okay.
Yep. And now I've got a terminal. And now what I can do is just keep unplugging, right? And this comes all the way off. And then I've got one already done. And I put it right there. It's a little nicer, might last a little longer, might not. Really depends on if an oak tree falls in your backyard, but that happened to me. Huh?
He has 4.
4 oak trees?
I know. How many do you have?
So all I'm doing now, I'm making the connection. And ratchet down, come on.
No pressure. And I've seen a couple of tables out there with that 2-post binder there. You can buy them here. So.
So there we go. So easy enough, right? Now what do we got? This is dipole. This is it. Now I've cheated and I've went ahead and tuned it and before I got here. So this is what polarization? Right now. Horizontal. Now it's what? Vertical, right? Up and down, horizontal. Easy enough. So my buddy Mark over there, what polarization are your HTs there? HT is just a handheld.
Vertical,
Vertical.
unless you're, got couples.
All right, unless you got to be cool.
Ideally, you want to hold it straight
Right,
up
unless
and
you want to
down
be
the
cool, then but if you want it to work, hold it up. So if I'm trying to talk to my friend Mark over there, I want to go this way, right? That way we're vertical to vertical. All right, so y'all want to hook it up and see if it works? All right.
How do you know which one to put up, which one to put down?
Well, this is red and black, so the red one goes up. So the red one is what? It's the positive one, right? And then this is the negative one, it goes down. So this is your ground. It's not like a ground like electrical ground, but this is your ground plane, right? So the black negative goes down, red positive goes up. Any other questions?
So when you hook it up, the center of the coax is going to be connected to the top.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't get into that. Yeah, you're right. So there, you see that? The inside of that. Come back here. I know you guys have built antennas, right? So the middle, and then the outside. So the way this works, this black wire here, because I didn't show these guys over here. So you got your center, that's your positive, and this ends up being your negative. So that centerpiece is electrically connected to the red, and the silver is electrically connected to the black.
Are you gonna see any great difference if you go that way?
Yes. Well, your signal's kind of, yeah, you'd probably get it to still work. But you want to optimize your signal as much as you can. So if you point that up, what he's got on the HT over there is the positive going up, and then you kind of ground, you become the ground with an HT. So let's see if I blow up a radio. Any other questions? Where are we at? Man, I kind of blew through this, didn't I? Y'all don't ask enough questions. So I did this with Brian.
You are so good.
Huh?
Because you are so good.
Aw, you're sweet. It's because I'm talking so fast. So when I presented this to my husband, he's not a ham, and he's never built an antenna.
Yet.
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 I'm gonna get there.
Well,
You have no
Right now, I'm
choice.
just finding the building.
You have no choice.
so he did say when I started, he did not know how to build an antenna, but he thinks he could now.
I think I could build this new.
Yeah, could. Well, maybe that's the show of hands. Who in here thinks they could build this antenna? You think you could do it? How about, you think you could do it? Yes, you can. Come on. All right.
There.
With help? With help? That's okay. So this is the Nano VNA. Who has a Nano VNA? I can't remember who raised their hands. All right. So I recommend this. I mean, as you get further along, I'll probably end up upgrading eventually. But I've had this thing, forever now, it seems like. But I've built a lot of antennas with this. And I need this so that I can tell if my antenna is going to work on the frequency that I want it to work on. So what I'm doing now is I'm connecting my test equipment to my antenna to see where I'm resonant and where my SWR, like the, I don't know, feedback, where I don't want that. I don't want the energy coming back into my radio, right? So I want all of the energy going out into the ether so that my buddy can hear me. So I'm going to set this. I wish I could like put it up here so y'all could see what I'm doing. Maybe next time. So what did I say for GMRS? What's our frequency range? 462 to 468. So all I'm doing now is I'm saying, who wants to see this work? Anybody want to see it work? Bring it around. So what I'm doing.
Can you hold up a phone?
Say again?
Can you hold up a phone to the screen and project it?
Can you? If you can, do it, yeah.
I don't have the cable here.
So what I'm doing, our frequency range here was 462 to start, and then stop is 468. Now what I want is something under 2 is acceptable. Not fantastic, but acceptable. And then something kind of around 50. Come on in. So I'm a little high, but now everything affects everything. So now watch this. So I'm going to pull it in right here. See how it does this wild stuff? Now I'm going to go up.
You see?
See what it's doing? I'm not even going to show you guys. They've done this. But what I want is a low, that yellow line there, I want that low. And I want that number close to 50. It's 60, not great, but I'm going to do it anyways. It's not going to blow my radio up, right?
Yeah.
So could you build a dipole? I think you could too.
So Jen, if you build that and you look in your nano VNA and it shows your resonant at a higher frequency, do you lengthen or shorten your wire to make it get into?
So a higher frequency, as in this way or that way. So what he's saying, I'm going to expand it a little bit. Now it's perfect, but so if I start, let's say I'm doing 462 to 468, right? That's where I want to be. And what he's asking is, well, what if it dips over here at 300, right? So, because, you know, we've got frequency ranges from 7 to 900, right, for the mesh-tastic stuff. So if it dips on this side at 300, I have to make my antenna shorter. So I've made my antenna too long. So I just start trimming back or folding back with a wire. You don't have to cut it. You can just fold it until you get the perfect little smiley face here where you want it to be.
So the shorter the wire, the higher the frequency, basically.
Yes,
Yep.
that's right. Now, on the flip side of that, I've got 462 to 468. Now let's say it ends up resonant at 500. That means I've made it too short. And you probably just want to start over. Like if you're
You'd rather
talking,
go long than short. For sure.
that's why I said, like when we were doing the math and it told me to cut it at 6 and some change. Well, I'm going to cut it at 6.5, right? I want to make sure I'm longer. Because I can always, if I'm on this side of the frequency, I can always kind of trim it back and dial it in. But once I go too long, now I'm in a situation where I have done this, where you have to add to. But it gets more complicated. You have splicing in there. And at this point, really as cheap as speaker wire is and as little as we're using, I would just start over. And trust me, I've started over many, many, many times. So that's the key right there is don't be afraid to try it and don't be afraid to start over. The other advantage to building GMRS antennas, I think I paid $20 for a roll of 100 foot of speaker wire, right? So I have 100 foot of speaker wire, but I actually have 200 feet of speaker wire because it comes in duals, right? It's two by 100, 1, 2. So this gives me everything I need. I can build a lot of GMRS antennas with my 100 foot of speaker wire and 2 meter. Anyway,
What gauge wire is that?
this is 18.
Does it make a difference?
It can. It's going to be your bandwidth. The smiley face there, right? So the thicker, typically, the wider that's going to be. So yeah, it can make a difference.
Is that better if it's?
Yes. Well, better is a relative term. Better compared to what, right? If I have this antenna and I have it dialed in perfectly for where I want to use it, I'm not going to get any better, right? But if you get into HF, right, and there's like big swings in HF antenna, HF frequencies, if you get a wider bandwidth on it, that is better. Because that means you can dial further this way and that way. So, yeah, good question. So is it better? No. For what I'm doing, no, I'm sorry, this is 16 gauge. It's labeled.
But you could use a variety of gauges.
Absolutely.
They don't have to be locked into the
Absolutely.
18 or the-
So the thing you got to be careful with, like for wire antennas though, so I've seen 20 gauge and so speaker wire, the higher the number, the smaller it gets. Okay. See, I don't know what everybody knows. This is supposed to be basic, right? So 16 gauge wire, I like to use it, or 18, because it's right there in the middle. I've ran 100 watts through it on HF antennas without any problems. I think I could probably get away with like a 20 gauge or a 22 gauge, and that gets even smaller and more packable. And once you get into, like, say that 7.2 megahertz I was talking about, the antenna length gets really long. It's called 40 meter. That's the 40 meter band, because the length is about 40 meters. So 40 meters, say 120 feet, right? That's 120 feet end to end, which my poor husband has put up with me putting antennas up that size. But they work. They do work. All right, so where were we on the swing? Any other questions?
I got a question.
Do you guys want to see the nano VNA?
When you're,
Yeah, all right. Oh,
No, I'm just.
oh, you're getting out of, oh, all right. All right, there you go.
That's cool.
So I put it way down here, like this affects it,
Yeah,
right?
I see that.
Yeah. So where I put this antenna, how high it is off the ground, everything matters.
Okay.
So the way this thing works,
Nano VNA.
Nano
I
VNA.
wasn't understanding what you were saying there.
yeah, it's an interesting name. So what you want to do, so starting my frequency at 462 megahertz, right? And then I want to stop it at 468, right? And so that gives me my range.
Okay.
So I want it under 2 for the whole thing. Now I'm holding it right here at the electronics. Everything affects everything. So let's move it up a little bit.
Okay.
See how pretty it is now? Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah. Did you see it?
I'll take a look at yours.
Sure. Do you have one?
I have one. It's a little bit bigger than that, actually. Okay.
Chuck, Atlanta, what's his, Chuck?
256.
256. His is like twice this size.
For those of us with older eyes, you can actually.
But
buy a
now
cable
look, this is what I was showing
and
him. Like if I
run
pull
some
it in
nano
here,
VNA
it's gonna
software
mess it up.
That'll let you show the screen on
But
the
if I get
PC,
it up,
so you can
right?
you can see it
it's gonna flatten out.
without having to put on glasses.
Do you know how to use it?
But
Like
this
have
is
you?
great when you're out in the
Pretty
field.
much, but I'm looking for the,
Yeah.
like, there's an actual number
But
that
it's
will
great
show
when
you
you're outside
the,
and
like,
you're playing around
the
with
ratio 1 to 1 point whatever,
Yeah, it's right here.
1.3.
Yep, I'm at 1.3, holding it right next to an electronic device. I think I'm good. Yeah, because the further away I get, well, make a liar out of me. There you go. Anyway, 1.5, I'm going to use it. Like, especially with my cheap little radios, I'm not worried about it. All right, somebody else had a question before I was showing that.
you actually answered my question in your demonstration as far as when you build your dipole and you're testing your SWR, is it important where you have that? Do you ideally want to test it where you're going to use it, or, can you have it sitting on your couch when you test it?
Well, you can.
What's the best way to test it?
The best way to test it is where you're going to deploy it. So if I build a 40 meter antenna, even though it's 120 feet of wire-ish, I need to put it up where I'm going to have it, right, to really see what the thing's going to do and how it's going to test out. I have to go out in the yard, take my bow and arrow, and it's true.
Sounds like she needs a drone.
I do need a drone. Anyway, I need to know how to fly a drone. I'm afraid I would just crash a drone right now.
I get a different reading on the nano VNA when I'm holding it versus when I'm not.
Absolutely.
Especially in the UHF. So, like, I put it down on the table and back away, so.
Right. No, absolutely. And everything matters. So, like, the question, right, that I ask, will it conduct electricity? You will conduct electricity. So you are going to influence how your antenna performs. So if you're close to it, you're going to throw your numbers off. So I know Gary, the owner of the GMRS network, that's what he says. He has everybody, I want to make sure I'm not going to trip, back away, so that I can get a good reading on what this antenna is going to do. So I'm just trying to find another slide. Yeah, there you go. That's what I was trying to say. Is that's the question I ask whenever I'm going to build a antenna. Will it conduct electricity, yes or no? All right. So anybody else want to look at the Nano VNA before I unhook it?
One more comment on the Nano VNA.
Oh, yeah. This is Ed, by the way. He's like the guru.
Nano VNA is also another word for rabbit hole. It can become a rabbit hole because you can spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes trying to get it from 1.6 to 1.5 if you're not careful. And you have to step back and you have to say, guys, this is an estimate. It's a guess.
Yep.
What I really want to know is it 1.5 or is it 4.5? If it's 4.5, I got a lot of work to do. But just remember, as Jennifer showed, as you move it around from place to place, it's going to go from 1.5 to 1.7 to 1.3.
But I'm under 2. I'm good. Yeah.
So just be careful you don't get sucked into that rabbit hole.
Maybe also explain why if you're above 2, you don't really want to transmit at this point either.
Not if you care about your radio.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you will burn something up.
Well, so it's electromagnetic energy, right, that you're sending out to the antenna. So if you have feedback, basically, is what I'm going to call it. I know that's not technically correct, whatever, but you got energy coming back into your radio, and you don't want that. So the closer to 1 you can get, the more energy you're pushing out. And I can tell you with my experience on HF antennas that I've built, I was running about 3 SWR on my testing, and then I was having to tune. So if you know what a tuner is, it makes your radio happy, right? It basically lies to your radio and says, everything's fine, go ahead and talk. And so I was using a tuner with 20 watts. So people were barely hearing me. Mark here's in Rome, and he could hear me, but I was down in the weeds. I was down in the static. So even though my radio was being lied to and told that everything's fine, go ahead, the truth is my signal still wasn't getting out because I wasn't tuned. So once I tuned that, I really missed my 40-meter loop. So once I tuned it, every bit of that 20 watts was getting out, right? So even though I was sending 20 watts on an untuned antenna, maybe like you trying to talk to him on a HT from Dawsonville to Rome, right? That's just not going to happen well, sometimes. But once I tuned it, everything is getting out. So you want a tuned antenna, in my opinion. That made a convert of me. Like I was all about tuners and, dialing it in and just making it work. Do you know what a tuner is, everybody? Yep. Okay. They're handy, and I mean, if you want to use them, use them. They're great. But I recommend resonant antennas. Like actually take the time, dial it in, get it tuned. That way, all of your signal is getting out.
Basically, you say that a tuner makes the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Best of a bad situation, but it's not. Yeah, it's not the optimal situation. I'll say that. It's not bad. I mean, if you're on the air and you're talking, that's not a bad situation. So I can't say bad, but it makes it better. It makes me be able to talk to more people. And NVIS is something I don't have up anymore, but mention that, especially for like trying to that emergency communications. That's NVIS, near vertical incidents, right? So you send your signal up and it comes right back down in a geographically local area. I'm not going to talk to Australia, right? But I can talk to my local friends. So anyway, we can see if this works, but I know it works. Such confidence. Well, I've done it a couple times. And you saw I pre-baked the antenna, right? So, yeah.
Gotta break that part up.
Say what? There you go. We're working. All right, any other questions? Come on in. We're building. Just getting coffee, all right. We're building a dipole. Any other questions? Oh, come on, guys. I didn't do that good.
What's the formula for building a dipole?
468 divided by the frequency you want to talk on. That's right. Okay, so yes, you're right. You need to consider that, or maybe you should consider that. However, it's kind of like what Ed was talking about, like I could get totally lost in the weeds in this nano VNA, right? And there are formulas that will say the gap needs to be this, the gap needs to be that. And they're probably right. But I'm using this right here. My gap is set, right? So I don't have to really think about it too much if I'm using this. Should I? Probably. Do I? No. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And if it works, if you can get it tuned and you can get your signal out, you've done a good job. So yeah, you can research that and absolutely take it into account, and your antennas will probably be better than mine. But have at it, you know, that's kind of my opinion on it. You can get lost in that, but it's really getting it done and getting it up and getting it on the air is what I concentrate on. Anything else?
How do you know when you need to use a balun or an and when you don't?
Lord have mercy.
Getting in the weeds now.
So this was a basic dipole build. So when do you need to use one? Well, what kind of antenna are you making?
That's the answer.
That's the answer, yeah.
For me, that's how is it balanced or is it unbalanced? If
Right.
it's balanced, then you need a balun. If it's unbalanced, you might need it
Well, some people put, baluns on dipoles too, right? To kind of get RF energy off your coax. I don't bother with it. Maybe I should. Yeah. But like if you want to do the loop antenna I was talking about that's on the 40 meters, you need, the rule is, and this is where I follow the rules, you need a 4-to-1 balun on that one. And that's loop antenna is just, I'm going to take this, and this is where I don't want to confuse people, right? You can build this dipole, you can build this, and this is the basis for building everything else. So do this, and then get down in the weeds and build all these other neat things that we're talking about right now. But a loop antenna curves in on itself, and it looks like it should short out. Like it's positive is connected to negative. And then there's what he's talking about. There's another, it's a coiled wire system, balun that attaches right here before you put it here, right? So it's you can literally go online and buy them. It's a 4-to-1 balun is what it's called, right here, and then you can do a loop antenna. And loop antennas are supposed to be quiet. That's been my experience. They're very quiet. They receive very, very well. And then you've got infeds, which you'd use like a 49-to-1 on something like that. Well, we're just going to stick with 49-to-1 for this talk. And that's, infeds are fun too, but does everybody have their general in here? General? Do you have your ham license?
Technician.
That's good. Technician, so this would be like a 440 antenna. This would be real close to 440. So 2 meter would get a little longer. That's what that's going to do. And then 220 somewhere in the middle there. So, but you can apply this math to all the technician bands without, just have fun with it. That's really the thing. All right, what else?
Is there an advantage over a dipole versus an infed you were mentioning for different situations or just personal preference?
What are you doing? That's kind of the question. Like if I'm at home at my QTH, right, and I can deploy whatever I want, a dipole is the best, right? But HF right now, I'm running an infed half wave. For VHF, UHF, everything's going to be under like 6 feet, like total. So yeah, I can do a dipole on that, and that's going to be your that's going to be your optimal antenna, right? Like everything base jumps off the dipole, right? But for HF, where you've got 120 feet one way, well, maybe I just have 60 feet in my yard. Then I need to get into a situation where I'm doing an infed half wave. And that's what I'm running right now. I did have the big 40-meter loop, got wiped out by an oak tree. Had to recoup, so right now I'm running an infed. And it's just running along my side yard. If I wanted to turn that into a dipole, I'd have to go into the woods. And it's still snake season. I ain't doing that. Not yet, but I will. I do have plans for a 160 loop. That's going to be huge. It's going to be great. But anyway, we'll see.
Get away from oak trees.
You
Yeah.
just have to run some wire in your neighbor's.
I'm in North Georgia. You don't get away from oak trees.
Brown wire is the key. Brown wire.
Brown wire?
Blends in.
Brown. The color brown.
Why?
Because it blends in. You can't see it.
Oh. Well, see, I don't have to worry about HOAs. I'm not worried about
I
that.
don't either, but.
Yeah. So I was using
Well, you
like,
run it into the neighbor's yard a little bit. Yeah.
they wouldn't care. They know me by now. Anything else? I did that good of a job. All right.
You did great, Ken. Good job.
So now everybody post pictures of the dipoles that you make, please. Because that's going to tell me that I actually did a good job. And like I said, just have fun with it. So you seem nervous, but I can see it in your eyes that you could do this.
Yeah, but in the beginning, for the first time, I need help.
We'll help each other.
The gentleman, Ed, over there was my help. And Mark over there, he just sort of goaded me along to build more and more antennas.
The instigators.
The instigators, that's right. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming. I beat Justin on my numbers, and that's really, was my goal. So what's your name?
Bob.
Bob, I'm Jennifer. Nice to meet you.
I came here just to meet you.
Just to
I'm in
meet me.
Dahlonega. I'm on the Dahlonega net.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, we talk all the time then.
That's why I wanted to come meet you. I'll talk to you in a minute.
All right, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. What was your name?
Kenny.
Kenny? Nice to meet you. Yeah, I think I met everybody else as they came in. So, all right, that's it. Y'all got